and welcome to Julie Hall Designs. Today I want to share with you how I create beautiful custom mouse mats with my embroidery machine. We're going to look at how to secure the mouse mat to your embroidery hoop, tips and tricks on how to create the best stitches, and everything that you need to know about working with neoprene. Okay, let's get started. So what I've got here is my tearaway stabilizer, firmly hooped, and the hoop attached to the machine. You'll find that the neoprene that we use for mouse mats is a little bit too thick to actually go into the hoop, so we are going to float it over. Now, magnet pins are generally, because this rubber is quite thick, are generally just not quite strong enough magnetically to hold that down. So instead, what I'm going to do is come through and using my double-sided basting tape and making sure that I am out of the stitching area, because I don't want the tape to be where I'm stitching and the adhesive to gum up the needle. I'm just going to come through and remove the backing. And then lay that mouse mat centered and butted up across the edge of the hoop. Now, if I trace where my outline is, I can easily see that my outline is going to come about an inch from that edge and about an inch from this edge as well. So that's perfectly centered for me. The design that I'm using here is the button and thread, and it has 3 colors, 2 shades of brown and then one for your thread color, which I think you're doing in a pale green. So let's start with the first color. If you have the option on your machine settings to raise your presser foot height, do so at this stage, just to raise that presser foot up a little bit. My machine is sitting quite nicely here and it's not dragging, so it's not a big issue that mine doesn't give me that option. So the first part of my design is just going to be the button. And the underlay here has the hardest job because it's going to hold down the bulk of that fabric. One of the things I love with stitching with neoprene is that you don't have to finish off the fabric. You can simply trim it with your rotary cutter and it is ready to go. So for me, mouse mats make a beautiful gift. You can customize them to whatever the giftee enjoys doing or is interested in. And it's one of those things that a monogram would look really great on as well. The other thing that the neoprene itself is good for is a shock absorbing mat underneath your machine. If you cut a larger piece, it will just help with the bouncing that we all end up getting to a degree on our machines. I do love the satin stitch around this button because it reminds me so much of the big buttons on her long coats that my grandmother used to have, and they were always made out of something like whalebone or or a precious wood. Beautiful pale green. It's one of my favorite colors at the moment. It's got a real mint look to it. So one of the things when I'm stitching something on a mouse mat, I want to leave the majority of the mouse mat free. I don't want the embroidery all over it because depending on what type of mouse you use, the mouse could have difficulty registering over the embroidery. So it's something that I want to customize, but I don't necessarily want to have over the entire project. Other fabrics that work great for mouse mats are cork and can also be embroidered. And I have been known when I'm at other people's houses, say my parents, and I don't have a mouse mat with me, I have been known to go and grab a cork-backed placemat and just flip it over. So once the embroidery is completed, all you're going to do is take that off and remove that double-sided tape that we had on there. Now, you can press your mouse mat, but you want to make sure you're using a pressing sheet with it. If you press with just your iron, things will not end well. Okay, let's come over and see what it all looks like. And here you can see our completed mouse mat. What I'm loving is the stitching is looking beautiful on it. If I bring my mouse mat, it is traveling over that beautifully. And I've got a really elegant way of dressing up a boring object on my desk. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and that it's given you the confidence to go out and embroider your own mouse mat. Until next time, have a stitching day. My name's Julie Hall. Bye.